Fella goes into one of these modern eco toilets that, as we all know, is a bit of a rip-off. And he's diaper a Tom Tit, you see, or a lawyer's writ. Bit of Cockney rhyming slang there. Anyway, he's absolutely busting for a poo. So he goes in and, the door automatically closes. There's like this computer screen there, and he has to put his bank card on the screen, and it's a complete rip-off. You sort of pay for how much you do and how long you're there and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, he's sitting there and he's so relieved to find this toilet. And when he finishes, he looks around and he thinks, where's the toilet paper? So he looks on the computer screen and it says what to do after you've finished your business, you see. And it said, you've got, instead of toilet paper, use your index finger, and then afterwards place it through a hole in the wall, you see. So he thinks, it's a bit bad, but there's nothing I can do about it. So anyway, he does this, and he sticks his finger through the hole in the wall. And the other side, there's a mallet, and it goes boom. And he goes, oh! That's disgusting, isn't it? Well, I thought, I like to start off with a bit of smut, and then the show goes downhill from there on, doesn't it? Now,
I think I can lift it up from there. Thank you.
What a bet. Yes, I always threaten my guests with the constipated vicar joke. So that's it, Well, first of all, welcome She Bear, empowerer of empowerers. Sorry, I got the wrong teeth in tonight. And now I've got a few sort of things to say before we start. You're probably wondering, what is this behind me? See, so I'll get out of the way. And you think, now today is the 11th of the 11th, which of course is Armistice Day. And I did a show last night, and I've also got a little talk that I did on YouTube. And because it's recorded, I don't know what it is about YouTube. It doesn't go on the live bit, if you get what I mean. So if you go onto not now, but after the show, if you'd like to go on to my YouTube channel, you'll sort of find it there. I did a talk yesterday, and this map, which I'll move out of the way, it's quite poignant because, as you may or may not know, rather, my father was in D-Day, and he was one of the first assault waves in on Jig section of Gold Beach. And they said that the sky would be absolutely full of aircraft. It wasn't. They just saw one, and it was a reconnaissance plane. And I've done my research, and the photograph that the reconnaissance plane took is of Gold Beach Jig section. My dear old dad is down there somewhere. And you look at that is all the explosions and everything going on. You can actually see it's quite a battle going on. And I think at that stage, to get off the beach, they had to run across a live minefield. Just think about that. Run across a live minefield. And they didn't know at the time, but only 1 in 6 landmines were live, because the RAF had strafed the trains carrying the detonators, but they didn't know it at the time. So my dad, I think he may have trod on one, who knows, but it didn't go off. So there we go. And as I've often said, my dad was years ahead of his time, because he never wore a poppy, never wore his medals, never had anything to do with the British Legion. He was a reluctant conscript, and he was a bit, I wouldn't say David Icke, but he was, now I realise it, he was ahead of his time, because when he spoke about what he went through, and he gave it from a different approach from the gung-ho, we went in and we saw and all that. It was never like that at all. It's very quietly spoken. He got ridiculed. He got a lot of flack because he didn't go along the lines that the the mainstream media wanted veterans to go down. And when he wrote his book, publishers wouldn't touch it. Hence the reason I had to publish it for him, and it's now available on Amazon. But the thing is that before he passed away, I said, look, I will carry on. I will keep going to tell the truth of what really did happen. And if only he was alive today, because a lot of people have purchased the book. Thank you so much for that. And we didn't do it for profit or anything like that. We did that from a moral point of view, to tell future generations what the truth really is, because we've been told a load of old rubbish. And I'd like to first of all thank Carolyn for buying 3 coffees with Buy Me a Coffee, which details are down below here. Thank you so much. It's much appreciated. And also, Ted has sent a fantastic joke for me to say at the beginning of the show. I haven't answered his email yet because I'm a lazy git. But no, seriously, I'll answer your emails. Sorry, I haven't got around to it. I haven't forgotten it. And also, Christine, thank you very much for your emails as well. But I am, after last night's show, which we had a absolutely huge audience on Rumble, I've been absolutely swamped down with lots and lots of emails and things like that. But I like to answer everybody's email. So thank you very much, everybody, for your kindness. It is much appreciated. And I just hope my dear old dad is looking down and saying, yeah, he's doing what he promised me to do. And so there we go. Anyway, over to you, She Bear. And about, what is it now? We're talking about optimism and something I think that is happening. Well, it's happening definitely in Uganda, but we desperately need it in this country.
Definitely.
Without a shadow of doubt. And am I right in saying we can't do it properly in this country because of regulations and rules and God knows what? Am I right in saying that?
There's some more complications to do in this project in this country. And as we get into it, people will realise what they are. Excuse me, got a frog in my throat.
Oh dear, can't have that.
Really must stop having frogs for tea.
Well, I've been on fog, man. You know, it's been foggy here and smog for about 2 weeks with low cloud. It's really been snorting in the low cloud. But today, there's just sky is blue. I forgot what it looked like, and this weird UFO called the sunshine. But I wonder if anybody else has noticed. This time of the year, your sun is still strong enough to dry your washing when you put it outside, but it's very weak today. What on earth is going on up in the sky? Weird, isn't it?
They're getting ready for storms over in Spain.
And we're going to have snow, they reckon, in 2 weeks' time or 2 weeks' time, which I don't
know about the UK. I just know that
in Spain.
The severe storms where they're washing cars down the road, they're going to have more of that. So
really,
love and strength and protection to my Spanish friends.
That's right. You know, that's oh, hang on. Oh dear. We should have actually gone on, and I've forgotten. Just excuse me one moment.
To put it on the radio.
To put it on the radio. Here we go. We're on the radio now. Just one moment. I've got to answer Paul because he's actually tearing his hair out there at the moment. Paul, just one moment. It's on now. Oops. Sorry, I forgot. I think a note from parents would suffice. What do you think? Lines or something like that?
I think it's lines, definitely lines for that one.
Yes, it's definitely lines, you know, because
you can tell I used to be a teacher, can't you?
Oh, yes, you know, but what a silly thing to do.
Oh, we've got a comment, snow forecast in Scotland and Birmingham area.
Scotland and Birmingham, they're very similar, aren't they? You know, you've got the Highlands of Birmingham I mean, I mean, oh look, you see, I think the Highlands of Birmingham would be about a molehill, wouldn't it? So, well, look, there's a sort of mouch over there, isn't it? Look, Sorry, it's my Birmingham accent. Right. Anyway, sorry, Paul. You know, what do you think? Uh, I think it's just a senior moment I had. I had a
Well, we
brain
just got
fog.
carried away with your joke and so on. So
Was the smutty
yeah,
gag that did it, wasn't it?
exactly. We have the dirty jokes. Yes, that was a very dirty joke. You
Well,
just need a little post-it notepad saying, "Remember to go on radio."
do you know, I found it before, Paul. I better not forget to put it on. And we got talking, and we forgot to put it on. Oh.
Oh dear.
Anyway, there's a chat actually in Butt, which is the radio. Sorry, not Butt. It's called Soapbox Radio. There's a chat in there as well, and I'm also on another radio station which is in America, and it's called. You notice I have to make notes. It's called it's called RadioWindmiller.com. So we
Oh,
got
lovely.
RadioSoapbox.com and Radio Windmiller, and I actually use a very modern piece of thing. It's called a diary, and just look at the state of that diary. I mean, it really is. That's what you call a working diary, full of crap inside it. Well, by crap, not literally crap. No.
That's what the guy needed in the thing. He should have took his diary into the toilet with him.
That's
It would have
right.
been
Yeah.
fine then.
Well, before we start, this is a true story, and I've told it on the radio before. So anybody that's heard this before, it's time to make a cup of tea, okay? And the other lot that still listen to it, thinking, "Oh bloody hell, he's not going on about that again, is he?" Well, yeah, I am. When I was at school, you see, I don't know if it's the same for you. They had this thing about going to the toilet, and you were not allowed out of the classroom if you wanted to go unless you put your hand out. I need to go to the toilet, please. And one little girl wee-weed herself because they said no. And I was desperate for a bowel movement, you see, and they had number one or number two, and I could never work out what it was, you see. So I said, I want to go to the toilet, please. He said, number one or number two. I must have got the number right, you see. So number two. And I got this one sheet of toilet paper.
Oh, no.
See, so I walked out, and I was walking down the corridor, and of course, any child that's outside the classroom during the classroom time is either there for two reasons. They've been sent out because they're naughty to go to the headmaster and get the cane, or they've just been sent out because they're naughty, but on a rare occasion, it's the lavatory. And suddenly coming the other way was, well, this teacher, he missed his true vocation in life. He should have been head torturer in a banana republic. He would have been brilliant at torture. He just missed his calling in life, Where are you going, boy? Which would have been pretty bloody obvious. There with the toilet paper, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Toilet. You should number one or number two. Must have said number one. Well, you won't be needing that then, boy, will you? Put it back. I'll give you, and I can't remember the time. 1 minute. And you better be out of there or there'll be big trouble. So I went in there, you see, and I was so terrified I couldn't go. And like an idiot, I flushed the toilet paper down the loo because I was so frightened that I'd come out and he would see the toilet paper there, see. So I came out and the bastard had gone. I meant to be seen. So I went back in the class, you see, and I was sitting there and suddenly the old stomach goes, and I'm thinking, oh no. And of course, once you've been out once, you can't go twice.
No, exactly.
You cannot go twice. I sat there all through the term. And directly that bell went, I was like a greyhound, straight out of that door, straight into the loo. Oh, relief. But there's only one problem.
No toilet roll.
So, necessity is the mother of invention. We had these old textbooks with years and years of finger grime on them. And I kid you not, it was logarithms, which is quite apt. And of course, they have the blank pieces of paper at the front. So I tore the page out, the blank bit, and used that. Of course, it was so thick because they were it was paper with like cotton in
Yeah,
it.
it
That
was
it clogged
decent
the.
stuff.
That's right. It clogged the toilet up. A little bit later, I went in the toilet, and there's a janitor there with his mate. Bloody kids nowadays, the little bastards clogged this toilet up with the exercise books. When we were young, we were only too grateful to have education and exercise books. Now, what is this next generation coming to? And I felt real guilt. So I'd start for the janitor still alive. But anybody else, it was me that clogged the toilet up, but accidentally. But I've never forgotten that. So there we go. That's my toilet story. So
Good. Good.
right, I got
I
that
hope
off
you
my
got that
chest.
out of your system now.
It's a big relief, I can tell you. Yes.
Exactly.
I bet you there's somebody somewhere saying, I wondered who like little sob clogged that toilet up, Might have been the janitor's daughter or son or great grandson or whatever
Exactly.
went through. Anyway, let's talk about what we're here to talk about, and that is this school. And we're going to chat a little bit later, sure. My God,
Yes, we'll chat a bit later. So
everybody's.
when you're ready,
I think I've read it. I've got all the smut out of my system
exactly.
so far.
Well,
And
shall we go to a slideshow then?
let's go to the. Do you want to go to the slideshow?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, here it
Yes.
goes.
Oh, let's go to the top, please, Eric.
Right to the top. Hang on.
Yeah, yeah,
Hang on. Oh, I'm at slide 13, aren't I?
yeah. Oh, that's the
Yeah.
bottom. You have to go the opposite direction. There we go. Oh, well,
Whee!
that's done.
Is your eyesight all
Well
right? Here we
done.
go. Whee!
Exactly, right. Okay, so some of you who already know me, some of you who've seen me on Eric's shows before, will know I'm like passionate about children's learning. I don't want to call it education because it's indoctrination nowadays. My background, I've been a non-qualified teacher, a special needs teacher, and so on, home educated my youngest son, and so on. And oh gosh, I've got to stop looking at those comments. And so I'm also a very big humanitarian, and I have quite a few projects going on. So this is a little project. Well, it's probably my biggest project that's going on that's not in the UK. And I like to call it Books of Empowerment. So let's go to the next slide, please, Eric. That's it, right. So we're going to go through what's, we've set up these empowerment centers. I see them as the new way of being educated. We're going to look at how I got introduced to the people in Uganda, why Uganda, what we're raising money for, how much will go to the project, and how other people can help. Okay, next one. There we go. Okay, empowerment centers. So what are empowerment centers? So I've got this wonderful website called the Kingdom of Britain. And on that, I was sort of downloaded, if you want to call it, or had visions or had ideas about different things in the world. And one of them is the alternative to education. So and I decided to call it an empowerment center because it doesn't necessarily have to be for the children, but the children are our future. They're my passion, to get them to become well-rounded adults, and because they're going to be the future. So the learning centers or education empowerment centers will be perhaps for all ages. So perhaps Granny could come in and learn how to type an email. Bob can come in because perhaps there's, something he wants to learn. And it could be like 8-year-old computer geeks are teaching 13-year-olds how to do like a bit of programming, bit of website, and so on. So we have a mixture of ages, a mixture of topics, and basically there'll be different classrooms, but they'll be for different topics. You might have a classroom for art, a classroom for textiles, a classroom for this, a workshop for the, woodwork and metalwork and so on. But this is mainly to help give people and the young people the opportunity to find what their passion is. Because if you find your passion and you can make a career in your passion, you don't work a day in your life. Your work is your play and your play is your work. And, you're uplifted, you'll have a good life because you're not in the drudgery of like the rat race and so on. So with this idea, young people who have sort of like developed some skills, they've found their passion, they could create a portfolio. So for example, little Michael, he might like carpentry and so on. So he could do a few projects. He would need to use his maths to measure things. He would need to, do some drawings to do the plans. He would need to perhaps write up his proposal for his project, and perhaps he's going to get some funding from people to do it. So he could do a few carpentry items, perhaps initially a tray, then perhaps a stool, and bigger things. And he could take photos of these things that he's created and the methods and so on that he used, he went through to create them, and perhaps videos of the different joints he made, who knows, and build it into a project portfolio. And this project portfolio could be either paper based or computer based, or 3D, because he's sort of showing people his wares, and he can show them to like future employers, perhaps any further training organizations. He could show them to his future customers, and and it may be that other experts come in. Perhaps there is a carpenter comes in and does a demonstration, and he says, "Yeah, little Mikey, come under my wing, come and learn with me. Let's do some on-the-job learning." And so this is the idea of the empowerment centres, and you could have sort of like a part of it could be for health and well-being. You could have alternative therapies. You could have like, where people come for support. And you could have like I see a like community-based governance. It could be that the community team of volunteers are in there as well. So it's sort of one central hub for everything that the community needs. So that's the idea of the Empowerment Centre. And obviously I'll open it up to any questions towards the end. So if you can go on to the next slide, please. Okay, so I had the privilege of being on some Zooms with this lady. She's called Generous, and what a lovely name. And she is a lovely lady. So she is the founder of God's Grace International Christian Ministries. So in 2007, she set up a school, and it was just like reading, writing, this old boring subjects, and they use corporal punishment. I says, corporal punishment? You don't need to do that. So I encouraged her to bring in things like sewing, and they called it fashion and design, hair care and salon, and agriculture, to bring in different hands-on topics, so that if a child was misbehaving for some reason, or they weren't quite performing, then you can say, come on, and you can say, if they don't behave, then you won't do the handicraft, the nice activities that you love to do. So I opened Generous's eyes up to alternative sort of ways of learning that bring in, moving around and so on. Because, over here we have autistic children and so on. And they don't like being sat for loads of, half an hour or so
But
at a desk.
that's right. But she would be coming in here. But the thing is that not everybody can actually go into a room and have information pumped into their brain. Then they go out and have more
Exactly.
information pumped into their brain. Because when I was at school, I was forever looking out the window, and the teacher said, "Curiosity killed the cat, and that's what's going to kill you one day." I'll never forget that. And the fact of the matter is that I sort of all school is really teaching you is to be a slave to the system. That's what I think.
Exactly.
And I
Yeah.
think what they did, which was an excellent idea in Germany in the 1930s and early 40s, they had grandmothers to teach women, or young girls rather, how to be women, how to
Exactly.
dress correctly,
Yes.
how to look after childcare and that type of thing, maternal. But
Mm,
what they've that's evolved, and I know that in one place in America, you see, I think that children need role models, and the role models we're putting up now. Well, I'm sorry, we all seen it, and it's absolutely it's depravity. It's vile,
exactly.
and
Yes.
I think we need mature men to show boys how to be gentlemen, and
Exactly.
women to show girls how to be ladies. And I
Mm,
mean, for example, I was very, very lucky because I had a father that showed me. I mean, my father's shoes. I mean, they're like mirror. They're so highly polished.
brilliant.
He was
Yes.
always smart, and he said to me, what my mother used to say to me: "Clothes maketh man, and they maketh woman as well."
Yes.
And self pride and how you
Definitely.
project yourself. For example, when saw this documentary about in America, and a lot of Black Americans are starting this now. They have places where young youths can go, and the crime rate has dropped, where they've got ex-military chaps
Yes.
who are black. And this chap said, and this was what told to me: when you shake hands, you look the person straight in the eye and give them a firm handshake.
Yep.
And that's what I
Definitely.
was drummed into me. Firm handshake. Trouble is, it's too firm. But, but the trouble is, just they got arthritis. But the fact is that I think that Cary Grant summed it up. Dress smartly because other people have got to look at you. I think that sums it
Yes,
up.
and I can actually vouch because Eric came along to an event I had on Friday, and he was immaculate. He had his
Thank you.
cravat, he had his three-piece suit, he had his little pocket watch. A typical gentleman. I was quite envious of his
Thank you.
get up.
Well,
I
actually,
like I like quality clothing, and that was, let's get back to quality, let's get back to morals, let's get back to the basics.
well, thank you very much. That's why my office has got gents written on the door. Sorry, but actually, it doesn't cost a lot of money to look smart because
Yes.
I mean, I don't hunt around. I mean, I use sometimes, but charity shops, it's amazing the bargains that you can get in them. And I
Mm,
assure you, I'm not wearing all charity shop stuff, but some of the things, like for example, but the thing is, don't go to a poor area if you're going to go to a charity shop. Go to a rich area because the quality is
exactly.
better. That's
Brilliant.
a little tip. But no,
Exactly.
seriously, I actually got a brand new slow cooker in a charity shop for a fiver.
Yep.
Seriously.
Exactly. It's just amazing. Yeah,
Hmm.
it just shows you the throwaway society, and the, you know, empowerment centers will enable the grandmas to perhaps teach the children crochet and knitting,
Yes.
and as well as the learning to communicate. Children can't do that now. They don't, and I remember my mum at the Sunday dinner, she would tell us hilarious stories about her childhood. And it was lovely, but we just don't get that now. They
No,
can't bear to be away from their phones for more than 5 minutes. But,
that's
for
right.
us, the dining table is phones off of the dining table.
Yeah.
You go back to your phone when you've finished eating.
Also, you clear your plate. That's what I was told. You got to clear your plate, and I'd clear. And it's funny because uh, I think the Victorians went a bit too over the top, very much over the
Mm,
top. But it's the
yeah.
happy medium. This is the type thing. It's like a pendulum. It swings too far one way and too far the other way. That's the
It's
thing.
sort of we need to bring in the best of everything and
Yes,
combine them, the
quality.
best of all eras,
Mm,
and then we've cracked it. But we have to break down the old first before we can do that.
yes.
So let's get on with
Okay.
Generous in Uganda, if you don't mind.
Certainly. Certainly.
Um, So she is actually based on the border, Uganda and Kenya, and Africa's a huge place. So let's go to the next slide, if you would. So
Oh.
this is the original school, Kashana. So when I first got to know Generous, they needed a roof for their nursery unit for the little babies' room. And I says, "Oh, well, what are you going to buy for it?" She says, "Oh, I just need a couple of the corrugated iron sheets, as you see on the roof there." I says, "Oh, well, how much is that?" And she told me how much it is in Ugandan shillings. And it was only 40 quid. I thought, yep, there we go. You've got your roof. And she was just amazed. So from there, I just started continuing and found other people who would donate and so on. But I'll go back to that a bit later on. So this is the original. And you see they've got their smart uniforms and they've got children of all ages because these empowerment centres are in remote villages, and Generous will tell us a little later about the problems they have. So let's go on to the next slide, please, Eric. So these are the alternative subjects we brought in. So there's the children playing with the soil, looking at the roots and so on. And then in the middle there, they were making clothes. Now it's all hand sewed because they don't have any sewing machines, and
Oh.
they didn't have any material either, so they used sacks. So
Oh
for
dear.
Culture
Poverty.
Day, the toddlers were going round in clothing made of sacks, but
Ah.
they
It's
enjoyed themselves.
poverty there. It looks a very poor area. I mean, is this it's a general thing in Uganda? I
Yes,
mean,
yes.
it's
Basically, a
sad,
lot of
isn't it?
the African countries are pretty poor. And there
Oh,
we have on the other side them doing plaiting and so on.
oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so let's go. There is a video coming up, I believe, soon. So if you go to the next slide, Eric.
That's it.
Okay, so if you could play number media 1 for me.
Right, hang on a minute. Media One, where are we? There it is. This is the one.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, viewers. My name is Generous from Uganda, the founder of God's Grace International Christian Ministries. And I'm privileged to working with Sister Shibea in empowering centers here in Uganda. These centers provide children in remote areas the facilities to the important life skills. They learn life skills. We teach them math, we teach them English, we teach them reading.
I put the wrong one on, I believe.
You did, yes. It's the
Yes.
one that's got that picture.
What picture?
Um, So it's the one in the media library. You've got the girls with their uniforms on, the yellow tops and the red, in the studio library.
Studio Live, Media 2. Hang on.
Okay, this is...
Is that the one?
No.
Well, I've only got 2 in there. I think oh, hang on. Media 1, is it? Media 4?
Media. It's the little girls are sitting and they've got the white top and the red. I wonder if I can play it from this end.
Hang on.
That's the one.
What are you doing?
This is your name?
Hello. How are you? You are fine. What is your name? Holy Esther. What is that? What are you doing?
They are making browsers. Okay.
Even that one is in tailoring class.
That one.
May someone stand up and skip a beat?
What gift of grace is Jesus my Redeemer? There is no more for heaven now to give. He is my joy, my righteousness and freedom, my steadfast love, my deep and boundless peace.
Okay, which class is this?
To this I hold, my hope is only Jesus. For my
Baby
life
class.
is wholly bound to His. Oh, how strange and divine! I can sing all is mine, yet not I, but through
Thank you so
Christ
much.
in me. The night is long, but I am not forsaken. For by my side, the Savior He must stay. I labor on in weakness and rejoicing, for in my need His power is displayed.
Oh, brilliant. That just tugs at my heartstrings.
Well, there's one thing
Okay.
I've noticed.
Yeah,
Several things I've noticed. One, the children are not going doolally like they would be doing in this country. And I'm
exactly.
wondering, because they don't go down to the local supermarket to get food. They're getting pure food, number one.
Exactly. Yes.
Number two, I noticed, I don't say it because of the poverty, but they're barefoot. So they're earthing.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Because we're meant to be barefooted. And,
Exactly. Just how God intended.
and the third thing I noticed, how well behaved, and what they all had a smile, and they're very polite, and they all had a smile. You know,
Yes.
just how shy they were. I mean, you go to you see kids in this country. Not all. I know there's some really good kids in this country. Sorry, I don't like using kids. They're children.
Children.
That's a
Yeah.
terrible word. Kids, a horrible word. I don't like it. But you look at the children in this world. There are some really well behaved, good ones. But there's a heck of a lot of them that are just running wild, going absolutely bonkers. And when you look at the food I mean, I was actually in a well-known supermarket the other day, and there's a woman there. She had several children, and her supermarket trolley. I'm not. She probably hasn't got much money, so it's not a criticism. It's just an observation. Was full of crap.
Mm,
High.
yes.
All it was. There's no protein. All it was carbohydrate, and
Yep.
carbohydrate. What goes into your stomach affects your brain. Can you blame those children for running, going, doolally? No, you
Exactly.
can't. It's the
Yep.
system. And this
Mm,
is the thing. I think we need these empowerment places in this country where we can
definitely.
teach children to have quality food. If they haven't got much money, you can still get quality food. There is a way of doing it. How to be presentable and to actually how to approach life. Because it's surprising when you change your, I wouldn't say diet, but your way of life, because I've changed my diet.
Yes.
It calms you down. It changes the way you think. And if you have a more nutritious diet, then you feel a lot better with plenty of protein. And it doesn't matter whether you're a meat eater or a vegetarian. You know, you still need protein. You can get it from beans and whatever if you're vegetarian.
Exactly. Yes.
So that's it. But I just noticed that those
Exactly.
children were so well behaved.
Yes.
Incredibly I mean, is the family unit, I would assume, is still strong in Uganda because religion is strong in Africa, isn't it?
I think it is pretty strong. Yes. Yes.
Mm.
But I haven't. It's my wish to go over there probably in the springtime, and then I can tell you more about their lifestyle. But I don't know if I'd want to come back.
No, is it north or south of the equator, Uganda? I think it's north, isn't it? Because
I think it's pretty well on it.
or near it, yeah.
Well,
So
Uganda is huge. We're talking about probably 100 times more than the UK. And it takes Generous 2 or 3 days to travel from one empowerment center, the Kashana one, right up to the northern empowerment centers.
because when I think of
Overnight, she's
really,
traveling. Yes,
when you go by
in a
car,
slow bus, public transport.
my word. And
Yes.
I'll tell you something, whenever I think of Uganda, I think of Idi Amin. What happened there? I've heard two sides of the story. I don't know because I wasn't there. I've heard the Asians saying how horrible he was. I've heard some people say he was all right from Ugandans. I don't know. I don't know the truth.
No, I
But
don't
should we?
really sort of delve into the politics of
No,
it.
it's not.
I'm just here to help the children. Yeah.
Well, should we have a quick sniff in chat and carry on? Would that be all right?
Yes. Yeah. Let's have
Now,
a.
there was, I think it was, where is it now? It was Sue Seasider, who was the first on tonight.
Yeah.
But YouTube have taken it off for some unknown
Oh
reason.
no.
Because I think, did Stephen Truthseeker, I don't know, do you drop them a couple of bobs each week? I don't know. But Stephen Truthseeker, he came on at 6:40. But I know for a fact that Sue Seasider was long before him, and they put her in at 3 minutes past 8. So
Oh bless.
I think we'll give him a joint one. We get brownie points joint. So we got here. So Stephen Truthseeker, and we got Krista Gardner. Evening all. I'm in my man cave shed. Fresh pot of tea ready. Herbal ciggy in the ashtray, ready and looking forward to the show. Hello,
Brilliant.
Chris.
Welcome, Chris.
And Stephen Truthseeker says, yes, says someone was before me, but comment has disappeared. That happens every week. And then we got Helen O'Sullivan. Hello, Helen. Hello.
Hello, Helen.
Now, do you think there's a bit of wee taking here? He says, chocks away, Chris. Are you on standby expecting a squadron scramble this evening? Hello, Sheen. What gave him that thought? I don't know. Anyway, we got Deb. She's good evening, folks. Been a busy weekend. I'm shattered, so having an early night. Just popped in to say, don't forget to like and share. Bless you, Deb. Bless
Well
you.
done, Deborah.
This video. Subscribe if you haven't. It's free. And remember, if you don't subscribe, I'll crack the constipated vicar joke. So remember that. Have a great show. And Deb will be on in a few weeks' time. So,
Brilliant.
and she'll be on, hang on. I got me playing here. She'll be on 25th of November. That's good, isn't it?
Brilliant. Yes, yes.
We got Foster Teta.
Here's
Greetings.
here's my foster son in Ghana.
Hello.
I
Hello.
sponsor
Foster son
him.
in Ghana. So we're the Fockham Hall is now, because we all have Ponzi titles, because you know Fockham Hall is the smallest country in the world.
Yeah.
This is where I live. Yeah. So unless you know differently, so hello Ghana. What would it be? Are they forward or ahead? I think they're ahead of us.
They're just a year ahead of us. That's not a year.
Yeah, a year ahead
An
of us.
hour.
Oh,
An hour.
Happy 2025. Are they?
Exactly.
Yes. Sue Seaside, she was one of the first, I think.
Yeah.
Don't know who she is anyway. So
Smart
Stig.
looking woman.
So we got Ghana. Stig is in New Zealand. Good morning, all.
Brilliant.
No jokes about sheep, please. And Aunt Sally. Hello, Aunt Sally. We've got Helen O'Sullivan and full moon this Friday.
Oh.
Oh, yes. The people would generally go a bit loopy-loo, don't they, on this full moon.
Well,
Jojo Gizmo.
It is a fact. They've
Yeah.
found that there's more crimes and more madness on when the full moon. But you know, we are full of water, and the moons are magnetized and causes havoc with the tides. So
That's right.
you know, who can blame us?
Evening, lads and lasses. And Helen O'Sullivan, says snow forecast in Scotland and Birmingham area coming. Yes. And
Get your thick winter drawers out then.
that's right. You can come and wash my car. All right then. Fair enough. Oh yes, because I was a naughty boy at the beginning. I forgot to put
Yes,
the
exactly. Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
Now Krista got a very poignant thing. Maybe if they had not poignant, what's the word? Anyway, I can't remember the word. Maybe if they hadn't removed 20 plus dams in the region of Spain to appease the climate change agenda, the flooding wouldn't have been so bad. Spot on, mate. Spot on. Yes.
I think they was having something like 80 millimeters an hour or something like that.
And we've got here, I might turn into a werewolf next full moon, Stephen Truthseeker. And now so we're spelling the globe tonight.
We're
Spell
global.
Tronican. Now, can I put my best South African accent on? This is hi all. Here in South Africa, snow in the Eastern Cape a few days ago. So anything is possible in Europe. Is that a good South African accent, Mel Telecom? Or is it a crap one?
Don't give up your day job.
I'm not taking the wee, am I? Do you realise the Fockham Empire reaches the globe? So far we've had Ghana, South Africa, New Zealand. We've also got John in blimey, where's John there? In Siam. He's watching.
Wow.
Well, he's 7 hours ahead, so he has to watch the recording. So there we go. We've got Paul. Good evening, all. Now talking about the toilet joke. My toilet makes this is a good one. This is a good one. Paul, my toilet makes fun of me. Every time I use it, it takes the piss out. Oh dear, here we go. I'll do a few more. Over 300 dams, James Corbett said. This is Hereditors Get Fucked. Instructed by the EU. Chris, yeah, it's true. And Chris has said, yes, mate, all to do with Agenda 2030, apparently. Mr. Corbett, yes, I watched Corbett, the Corbett Report, does some stirring work. I think KWNW is one of the best podcasts on the net. I agree with you, especially the documentary did about the First World War. Absolutely fantastic. It really was. Gives my sort of thumbs up. The Roman one was solid if it works. Don't fix it, so they say. The Roman what?
The toilet.
Yes,
Dan.
yes. I'm feeling a little flushed after all this toilet talk.
Exactly.
Yes, mate. Instantly as usual. No context in the mainstream media reporting of it. Hello, we've got
Generous.
Generous. I'm sorry I can't pronounce your first name, but I am English and I got the wrong teeth in tonight, you see. Thank you so much, dear sister, She Bear. So happy to see all these. You are wonderful, dear. Yes.
There we go. That's Generous. She's managed to make it on the chat
Yes. I should
because
think it's
really
yes.
technology isn't up to her appearing.
Well, that's brilliant, isn't it? I should think there's
Exactly.
let's have a quick look. Hang on. Uganda time. Let's put Uganda time. What time is it in Uganda? It's 10 to 12 at night.
Yeah.
There now. So she's having a late night. There we are.
That's
Thank you,
it.
Generous. Bless you. And then we
Yeah.
got here Foster Teeth. Keep on with the good work, Miss Generous. And thank you for the support, Mum, She Bear. And we got here so emotional and lovely to see those kids, is Foster, these kids having these opportunities. God bless you all. Well, that's lovely, that is. And oh, that's brilliant. So isn't it nice? Everybody's coming on, and I'll just get that out. Oops, I got the wrong. I put the wrong. And we'll go back to chat a little bit later, shall we? Because I'm sure you're
Brilliant.
chomping at the bit to carry on. So
Yes.
so, should I put the slide back on, or
Yes, please go back
but
into the
it'd be the
slide.
wrong one. Oh, we're at 7. Is that all right? Yeah, it was 7. Yeah, we left at 7.
Go. Yes. So next one down, please. So this is the second empowerment center. Basically, as was bringing in these new activities, some of the tribes people up in the north heard about it, and they says, "Oh, we need these empowerment centers up in remote areas of northern Uganda." So Generous nipped up there and sort of done her connecting and so on. And this is the result of it. And as you see, there is not a permanent structure there. Yes, they have this hall on the left, but it's not big enough. So we've got pictures of the some of the older children doing their sort of maths work, sitting on chairs outside in the shade. And of course, you know, you have to think of, in this country, think of, oh, we need the shelter because of the rain. In their country, they need the shelter because it's too hot in the sun, as well as torrential rain. So they've that shelter on the right hand side there, that's a classroom as well. And that roof that spans right across, £80. £80 for a roof to keep the children in the shade and in the dry.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
So
£80. That's not bad, is it?
exactly. Yes.
And also,
So
I think Uganda and Ghana are English-speaking African countries, aren't they? That's their first. I think it's their first language, isn't it?
I believe so. Yes. Yes. I could be wrong.
Because I think Ghana,
I
think they've got French-speaking countries either side. So you've got
Yes.
France, French, English, and that must be a bit of a complication, mustn't it? But
Yeah.
anyway.
So with this ASSI Centre, the children and all went out to find the big branches and that they could use as stakes to make it. So they were all involved in the building of their shelter. So obviously they're proud of it. And, you know, I'm proud to be part of it.
Lovely. Why can't we sort of, it's over here, it'd be you need planning permission for that, and you're going to need document number 3677, and all that, wouldn't it? Oh, yes. You've got to pay £150 before you put the document in. You know, that it'd just be bureaucracy all the time. This is what's holding this country back, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if we go to the next slide, please. So this is the third empowerment center, Lumunungu. It's a funny one to learn to pronounce, but I've had lots of practice. Lumunungu.
I just can't get my
Lumunungu.
tongue around these
Exactly.
pronunciations. I'm sorry.
So yeah, so they've got some land that they use, and they had the use of those huts and so on, and they can do agriculture there as well. And this is the main one that we're having, that I'm doing this campaign for, but I will come on to that. So if you go to the next slide, please. Right, okay, so this is media 2. If you could play that for me.
Right, media 2. We've got 4. We've got 1. Hang on a minute. Where are we? I've got media 2. Here it comes.
You've got that one, yeah.
Okay, this is Lamnyungu, God's Grace Empowerment Center. They're taking porridge. Jennifer, give them as we take this. Give them. So, taking porridge and some bites. And this is our environment. We decided to take up these houses. This is our kitchen. The other one is for accommodation. We are on the road going to Atiaka, and this is one of the houses for accommodation. This is the environment. This is also another one. Another house. God's Grace Empowerment Center, Lamunyungu. Yeah, these are mats. These are plywood for blackboards. This is the environment. The other one house is for an office behind the tree there. And this is another one. They were built purposely for a school, but then the one who had this vision did not turn up on time. So now we are given all these 8 houses for our children. Some for classrooms, like these 2 are for classes. Then the small ones are for accommodation. So we are well, very well. We managed to register 30 children on our first day. So we are well. Thank you.
Oh.
Okay, so yes, as you see there, that they had the use of this land and so on, and Generous was very excited and so on. This is only back sort of like at the beginning of October, but since then things have happened, and they've actually lost a lot of those buildings, and they're in danger of losing that land. So if you can go on and play media 3 for me, please, Eric.
Media 3. I've got media 4. I've got hair cutting. I don't think I've got media 3, have I? All I've got is 4.
That's the one. Media 1 you had. That's the one with
This
Generous.
one. This one.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, viewers. My name is Generous from Uganda, the founder of God's Grace International Christian Ministries. And I'm privileged to working with Sister Shibea in empowering centers here in Uganda. These centers provide children in remote areas the facilities to the important life skills. They learn life skills. We teach them math, we teach them English, we teach them reading and writing. And then on top of that, we train them how to do tailoring, hands-on lessons, tailoring, saloon for ladies and saloon for men. And so far, we have empowered 537 children. Those children who cannot go to government schools, because government schools here, mostly in northern Uganda areas, they don't have private schools. So these children have to walk 7 kilometers a day to school back home. So we find it really necessary in northern Uganda. And we now have 4 centers. The original one being Kashanda in western Uganda, southwestern Uganda. And then we have Achi, we have Lamnyungu, we have Amu in northern Uganda. And for us to keep on using this land in Lamnyungu is situated in a trading center. So we have many children there and we have many challenges. So we instead to continue using this land in Lamnyungu, we have to put up a permanent structure because we bought it from a family and we have taken long without using it. So they are asking whether we are still in need of it. So we have to make sure that we put up a structure. And where we are right now, the premises were sold off. Someone has bought them. So we have to make sure by next year, by January, we have a permanent building on that land, our school land. We can dig the foundation ourselves, like committee members and teachers. We can dig the foundation. We can make bricks ourselves. We can do some other things, simple things. But then we need funding for other materials like iron sheets, like nails and labor. Those kind of things we cannot do them. And we made a budget with my sister Shibea, and it totaled up to 5 million Uganda money, which is equal to 1,060 pounds. And many things. So far, Sister Shibea has raised 1 million with her group. She has raised 1 million, which is equivalent to 211 pounds. And then we are also requesting for more because it can't be enough. And for more information about our centers, about our schools, about how we do it, about our skills, it's with Shibea. Sister Shibea, we thank you so much for the good work you have done since the beginning of this. And you have really been there for us. You have given us donation. You have, with your group, thank you so much. And we are praying for you that one time it will come to pass. Dear viewers, be our partners, be our donors, and be part of us so that the children of the world can be saved, can be happy, can give, at least we can give a smile to our children. God bless you. Hello, children. How are you today? Thank you so much. Lamnyungu Empowerment Center. Say hi. Hi. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes. So that was a bit of a blow, that knowing that she could lose her land if we don't get something sorted.
Oh, that's a shame. I mean, I would have thought land would have been. I just don't know. I'd assume it would have been pretty reasonable, pretty cheap over there. Land, I don't know.
It's cheap for us.
It's not for them.
But not for them. No. Of
And
course, but there are families over there that are rich in land but poor in resources. So yes, it is expensive for them, but for us but they have a plot they can use, but for them to keep it, they must put a more permanent structure on than what they have at Assy.
also, one of the questions when I first started my studying architecture, and I've never forgotten it, and it's going back a few years now, the lecturer said, "What is the most common building material in the world?" And everyone got it wrong. And I was absolutely surprised. And it was I don't know whether it's changed since then, but do you know what the most common building material in the world is?
Probably
People are going,
mud and clay.
spot on.
Mud. Yeah.
Mud. Mud
Yeah.
is the most common building. And I think you're saying concrete? No. No, it's mud. More buildings are made of mud than anything else. But the thing is, sorry, carry on.
People are going back to filling up sandbags with dirt and so on,
Correct.
and using those to create walls, and then put the rendering on and so on. So and again, they're very efficient. The huts over there in Uganda, they're cool in the summer and they keep the warmth. Well, I don't think it gets that cold in the winter, but they're very cool in the summer, and they regulate the temperature.
The only thing I would be bothered about out there would be snakes. I do not like snakes, and I should think there's quite a few snakes out there, because there's something about snakes I just don't like. It's nothing personal against them. It's just something I just don't like snakes.
The snakes are more afraid of you than you are of those.
Want to bet? Want to bet? I actually worked in an office once where it was surrounded by sort of trees, woodland, and an adder slithered in. No, it's a deaf one, I think. Yeah, an actual adder slid in.
Do you know how they know it's an adder?
No.
Because they heard it saying 1 + 1 = 2. 2 + 2 = 4.
I thought it was a snake in the grass that told us, but still. I like that one. Hang on a minute. Chris the gardener said you can build earth ships with old tires filled with sand or mud. That's correct. And you can actually make solar ovens out of old tires.
Yeah.
So there we go, you see. And the solar oven would have worked perfectly over the last couple of weeks, wouldn't it? I don't think. And Foster said, yes, Ghana and Uganda are English-speaking countries, but I think they speak their own dialects in those countries, don't they?
Yes.
So that's the thing, But well, it's like us, we do, don't we? It's the Scotney, there's Gaelic. People don't realise that. Gaelic is our native language. Did you know? People don't realise that. Anyway, on with the show, as they say.
Exactly. So if you go down to the next slide.
Where are we?
So just for those that are interested, we're now creating our 4th empowerment centre in Amur. So as you see on the map on the left-hand side, you've got Kashana right down at the red flag right at the southwest. And then you've got the 3 here in the northern Uganda. They look quite near each other, but there's a very long distance between them, probably sort of a day's travel sometimes.
Really?
Yeah.
About as far as what Bognor is from us? No.
Further than that.
Well, I don't know. Our awful transport would take about a day to get to Bognor, I think, But no, Uganda, I don't think it's landlocked, is it? I'm trying to locate it. I think you've got a coast, haven't you, on Uganda? I don't know.
No, there's no coast. There's a big, there's a rather large lake, which is very big.
Yeah, it's a bit.
And, some of their
lakes
Lake Victoria are bigger than the size of the UK.
Good heavens!
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's interesting.
It's just amazing.
Yeah.
that's the fourth one for those that are interested.
Hmm.
Okay, and so if you can now play the fourth media, please.
Right, fourth media. Here we go.
iyo utewe n'amakuba akomeye ukiheba ubonye ko bicitse pe byuba ari imigisha yawe kwingana ega ni myinshi yo gutangaza bariyo migisha nona Imana yakugabiye uyibare ntusige n'umwe erega ni myinshi yo gutangaza bariyo migisha nonaha Imana yakugabiye uyibare ntusige n'umwe erega ni myinshi yo gutangaza nturemerewe se no
Yep. So that's
what's that?
that yeah, it's finished now. It's that sort of basically tied up of Lumanungu saying goodbye to us.
Oh, that's nice, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah. So that's from them. So if you go on to the next slide down, and we
Next
go
slide
on
down.
to and the next one. And the next one. So what am I doing to help them? Well, I've used all my disposable income and have no savings and so on. But I do have 2 little books that I've written for children. And these books have learning activities in them as well. So this was my first one. It's called Speedy's Adventure. It's based loosely on a true story where my son's mouse managed to escape and she had an adventure around the house. And it just sort of inspired me. I wrote this probably in about 8 hours because I was so inspired. First book I'd ever written. So I'm going to give you a little, I'll read you the synopsis of it. And then I will tell you about my next one. So Speedy was an ambitious mouse. She did not want to be stuck in her cage with her dull sisters. She wanted to get out and see the world. Speedy's boy was very upset when he found Speedy had escaped from her cage. He never lost hope that she would return. He tries to set up traps to catch her. However, she was too smart for that. As a final attempt to catch her, her boy put the cage down on the floor before he went out. Would she return to him? So I've had a review on this. It's really nice. My best part was when the boy couldn't see Speedy on the carpet. She was invisible. So that's my first book. And if we go on to the next slide.
Okay. And I believe the illustrations are done by somebody.
The illustrations for each book are done by 2 different home-educated young ladies. So Speedy's book was done by a young girl called Kayla. She was, I think, about 13 or 14 at the time.
Oh, that's good.
A few years ago now.
Oh.
And inside each book there are little hand-drawn diagrams as well. And at the back of Speedy's Adventure it tells you about the new books coming up, and it's got a link to the learning activities for it. So Gerard and the Magic of the Trees, was inspired by me sitting in the woodland with my greyhound. And this book was totally written out in the woodland with my trusty greyhound sitting beside me. And most of the time I was wearing that onesie that you see me there in the picture.
Really?
Unfortunately, my greyhound is deceased, but she is in my
sorry
heart.
about that.
Yeah. So this is Gerard and the Magic of the Trees. Gerald, a shy, introverted boy, had become separated from the rest of his family in Potterton Grange enchanted woodland. Racked with worry that he might never see his family again and he might die in the woods all alone, his fears were dissolved after meeting a series of very magical trees and receiving a special gift from each of them. So, and this is talks about emotions. So the activities are probably more for older children and emotional intelligence, and also you can bring in things like your bushcraft skills. So identifying leaves, finding nuts and seeds and so on. So it's quite a naturey book, that one.
And if they're more advanced teenagers, the mushrooms that you oh no, we won't know mushrooms.
No, unfortunately, I haven't said about mushrooms because I don't know about them myself, and I
Nor
would
do I.
not.
I actually don't touch them, but I know I'll probably pass very delicious mushrooms, but I don't take a chance because I don't dabble in what I don't know. It's as simple as
Exactly.
that.
Yes.
You know, you've got to be so careful.
So if you go to the next page, how can you get hold of these wonderful little books? So what I'm doing, I can write a dedication in them and my autograph. So they'll be unique. There'll be collector's items as well, because there aren't many of them out there at all. So you can go to thekingdomofbritain.co.uk/books, or there is a buymeacoffee.com empowerment centers /empowerment centers. So, and they are £10 donation, and that includes the postage. Shall I say a £10 recommended or suggested donation? And all of the profit goes to Lumunungu Empowerment Centre.
Interesting. Now, the thing is, what can we learn from this to apply to this country? Because the thing is, when you walk around, you see loads and loads of boarded up buildings up and down Britain, empty. And of course, when the council get involved, you've got bureaucracy.
Yes.
And they're not working for us, the people. I'll leave this up here, and this is the problem. We've got to, I think it's learn from the empowerment centres in Uganda to have the similar empowerment centres in this country. Now, there used to be youth clubs, but I don't know much about them. But I think that was in the 50s and 60s. I don't know.
A bit nearer than that. 70s and 80s they were around as well.
Well, I don't know. I've never been to one, so I wouldn't know. But the thing is that I think that the education have got it all wrong in this country. I really do. Well, I think they've got it all wrong everywhere, because it's one size fits all. I mean, when I was at school, I think all the headmaster was interested in is sports trophies round his room. And if, like me, I mean, I looked sporty, but I wasn't sporting. I come from a non-sporty family, but we're all very fit. And this is the thing. I detest sport. I still, to this day, I fall off to sleep. I could fall asleep during a football match. It does not interest me at all. And people, because I cycle, I enjoy cycling, people think I'm interested in the Tour de France. I'm not interested in the Tour de France. I couldn't give a monkeys about it. It does not interest me. I cycle to keep fit. and to get from point
Exactly.
A to point B. And because I'm a stingy git, it saves on petrol for my car. Because I'll go down and buy me get me shopping on my bike, you see. Because, when you're tight fisted like I am, you notice that did you notice that I took very big footsteps to save on shoe leather? So
Exactly. Yes. So now
yes.
I wondered what that was about.
Yes.
I thought you had something wrong with your anatomy somehow.
No, I always walk like that. But that's the thing, you see. And if you're a non-sporty person, in my school, you're a non-individual. You're a weirdo. You're a sort of, it's like sport.
Yes.
I remember the sports master saying to me, but all boys like football and rugby. No, all boys
No.
except me. I didn't want to. It does. I mean, there's no option. You had to do it. I mean, I would have far preferred to put some boots on and walked through a forest looking at all the foliage and things like that and gone on a trek.
Yes.
I could have probably outwalked most of them.
Yes.
I'd have loved that, but no. I mean, when I left school, we
No.
weren't taught about trees. I didn't know the difference between coniferous and deciduous trees. I looked at trees. I didn't know what they were. I mean, I thought they were just sort of natural things for dogs to cock their legs up to. I mean, I didn't know.
Exactly. Yeah. Natural
and
pea posts.
that's right. But I mean, school really, it didn't really educate you. It just conditioned you. I think that's all it did. It didn't really.
That's the problem. See, I have a background, obviously, with home education. My dissertation for my education studies degree was how to home educate a sick child, and because my son was poorly then. But you talk about the youth centres. There is a town nearby where they're pushing to bring back the youth centres. And I'm thinking, well, that would be brilliant because we could have it set up as an empowerment centre for the home educated children to come along and do activities and do, work in teams, have their social life, a bit of social life and so on. So I think that's sort of one of the things we can push for is for youth centres to come back. And we can use there's a localism act where if a group in the community sort of put things forward, you can hold the MPs and the councillors accountable. And, you can, make sure that the monies are going back into the things and activities for the children.
Well, yes, but I also believe that we got to re-educate. Now, this sounds, and I don't mean this in a selfish sense, individualism.
Exactly.
You see,
yes.
The thing is,
Yeah.
each child is an individual, and we're all cut out for different things. Now, I personally think that we need to plan to have farmland around where
Yes.
people live, where you can get fresh crops. And you get people from these empowerment centres, and it creates a living for them, where we could use local money.
Yes,
and
definitely.
where they grow. How nice to walk up the road and say, "I'd like a cabbage, please," and he goes out, hang on a minute, gets a knife, and then cuts a cabbage for you. And here it is. I mean, that's what it used to be years ago. And I mean, where I live, there was lots of nurseries and greenhouses. It was noted for that, for growing cucumbers and tomatoes. And did you know that adjacent to where I live is one of the largest cucumber growing areas in Great Britain, apparently?
Wow.
So I heard. But the thing is, you go to the local supermarket and when it says Spain, so
Yes.
they're grown locally, but you get them from Spain. And the same with tomatoes, you get them from the Netherlands
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, if we could show people the old skills, how lovely that would be for you to walk out of your house, me to walk out of my house and do our shopping going around the farms.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, with the empowerment centres, they're, as I say, they're for all ages. It may be that the homeless want to learn a new skill.
Correct.
So you could get an expert in teach them how to build their own shelters, give them a bit of land and so on. The addicts, they could come back into society. They could, be out in the field. They could learn how to grow things as well. And maybe like there's old John, who's had allotments for ages. He could be teaching the youngsters how to, grow their tomatoes, how to cultivate their cucumbers and so on.
Well, that's right. But it's not only that, it's to give people back a sentence that my granddad always said: self-respect.
Exactly.
People have lost self-respect. I mean, look what they used to do with prisoners. They dressed them in prison uniforms. Why? Because then they become a number. They don't become self-respectful. And when you look around, and it's just, again, it's not a criticism, it's just an observation I'm making. When you see people, they've lost their self-respect because most people they look like tramps. I mean, admittedly, when you see me get off my push bike, I would say a tramp would be better dressed than I am, because you get all the crap thrown up from cars when you're on a bike.
Yeah.
So you're not going to dress smart. You're not going to wear your tweeds on a bike. But I think that the thing is that generally people have lost self-respect. When you looked at films, people, and when I say films, I'm not talking about Hollywood films. I'm talking about documentaries where they filmed in the public, and that there was the old British Railways films that you can see on YouTube, and you see people in the 50s always smartly dressed because they had self-respect. 60s, even in 70s, they did as well. They had self-respect. You were very smartly dressed when I met you. You got some self-respect, and I think this is the thing. It just shows the characters and think, and that's it. Why do they dress soldiers in smart uniforms? Think about it.
It's also so, like uniforms are, people look up to people in uniforms.
But I don't like uniforms. That's the thing.
Exactly.
Because I like individuality. That's
exactly.
Look at Mao's China. In Mao's China, everybody had to wear denim, women as well. So you just saw this, sea of denim. Shall we have a quick shufti in chat?
Yes, I've just realised that Mel Trelkan from South Africa is my friend Pam.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, we've got Generous says, thank you, dear Foster. Here we are. Then we got Foster says, ha ha ha, hello. And there we go. And we've got and this is talking about the full moon. Helen O'Sullivan says, A&E always busier on full moon. That's right. Mel Trelican says, nah, crap. It's Pam here. Hi, She-Bear.
I can't think what she's saying nah, crap to.
I don't know. I've forgotten. They put more police on duty on and around full moon.
Interesting.
And we got here, yes, both Ghana and Uganda are English-speaking countries. Here we go. See, they're civilized. You see, you can always tell a country if they speak English, because when they speak a foreign language, they're just doing it to be irritating. You go to France, there they are jabbering away and should speak English. No, I'm joking. Oh, by the way, I think in Africa they drive on the proper side of the road. They drive the same as us, don't they? On the left of the road.
I don't know.
I think they do. Yeah,
I think a lot of the roads may be just dirt tracks.
Yes. Well, it's a bit like here, isn't it? Right. This is Hachi. This is Chris Agano. Says Hachi. This is true. I've known this for years. The cells are always chocker on a full moon. If we're 60% water, I guess it makes sense we'd be affected. That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
And I've already read this out about the tires. Wakefield, the rhubarb the rhubarb triangle.
Triangle, lovely.
The rhubarb, yes, yes, rhubarb. Did you know? What's it? Apparently, rhubarb was very. There's a bloke talking on YouTube about this, and apparently in the 30s, rhubarb was really common. Everybody ate rhubarb, and in the
Yes.
30s and 40s, and it fell out of favour because it's so sour, and people had to put lots of sugar on it, which is not very healthy. And when we had this sort of
Mm.
health type epidemic, the rhubarb dropped. But I used to have rhubarb in my garden. I don't know why; it just sort of died one day. Could have been the cats doing a whoopsie up it, And yeah, it's funny. Oh, rhubarb had a strange salty taste. Yeah.
You're meant to wash it before you eat it.
Ah, I'm joking. Children are controlled, not empowered in school.
That's correct. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. That's why I decided not to do a teaching qualification, because I'd learnt about education so much. I decided that was not the way it should be done,
I
and
agree.
hence I'm a pioneer. So the what we're doing with Generous and these empowerment centres, it's a template. It can be used by communities to, because the world is, the systems are going to come down. So we now have a template of what we can do for the children.
That's right.
Once the schools are vacated, let's take them over.
Well, that's right. I mean, I get it really angers me when they're teaching children filth. And it is filth.
Yes.
When they
Decisions
become teenagers.
Yeah, they're making them make decisions that they do not need to be thinking about at such a young age.
Well, precisely. And to me, that is actually what's abuse, it's child abuse. I really do believe that.
Yes.
And I mean, well, horrendous. It really is. And I hope it's going to finish soon with all that sort of stuff.
Well, there's been the executive orders come out that says it is
From
finishing soon. Yep. So
Trump's that's one good thing if he keeps his word to it.
He will do. He will do. Otherwise, they hang him up.
Well, next time I'm on the phone to him.
Yes, please. Yes.
Yeah. Can you smell something? Is it cats? I think it's bullshit. Actually, I'm just coming out with it. and I'll throw it if the phone rang tomorrow morning. Hello, this is President Trump here. What?
Well, he knows now. He knows that Forkham is a country in its own right.
That's right.
So yeah,
that's right. He should recognise it.
He will be in touch with you.
I was wondering whether to declare war on the United States so I can actually get some money, to rebuild Forkham, and surrender immediately, of course. But,
Yeah, exactly.
That was in the film, what was it? The Mouse That Roared, wasn't it? Smallest country in Europe. They were bankrupt. So what they decided to do is declare war on the United States and then surrender. So they get all the war reparations.
Brilliant. Yes.
Now, Helen O'Sullivan says, I've been in childcare for 35 years. I see how children feel about themselves. It needs to change.
Yes. They've been hugely disempowered.
And the food
That's putting
needs
it
to
politely.
change.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, I'm not that keen on Jamie Oliver, but he did do a thing to try and change the diet. And children, to have all the carbohydrates they're having is absolutely horrendous. I mean, no wonder they're running doolally. You can't blame them. Because no wonder they're running doolally because of what they're eating. The South African attempt at accent, laugh out loud. Yes, well, it's pet, isn't it? I used to work with a bloke who was from what was called Rhodesia, and he spoke like this. And there were certain words he said that I don't know why, but we found funny. And he used to say, "What? Stop taking the piss out of my accent, will you?" And when he said, the funniest sentence he came out with, he said, I went on my bicycle and I saw some hippos. And we was off out. Now, that's not funny, is it? I mean, it's not funny at all. But there was an Indian bloke. He was almost on the floor with laughter. He's, why are you taking the piss out of my accent? What's funny about it? He couldn't understand. And she said, yes, drive on the left in most. See, that's civilization. You drive on the left. Yeah. That's it. Speak English. Drive on the left. and use Sunny Lav down your toilets. That's the thing.
Yeah, you missed the one out that says rhubarb with honey and ginger is yummy.
I have. I will give that a try. But rhubarb is
Yes,
very
thank
expensive
you,
when you buy
Helen.
it. I'd like to buy
Oh,
a crop of it.
there's quite a lot in Leeds, so I'd go and pinch some when I'm next there for you.
Oh, thanks, because it's
Don't tell anyone though.
no, no. But I mean, it's surprising. I mean, that's Joe. I think a neighbour of mine discovered that Wicks, outside Wicks, they actually grow rosemary. Was a little bit less rosemary there at the moment because she took a secateurs on. Well, it does it good, a nice little cutting. I don't think they'd mind if you
Exactly.
asked them. That's,
I've
yeah,
got
sure.
some in my garden, so I'm fine.
Oh, hello. It's old Pat. Hello, Pat. It's young Patrick, rather. Hello there, Eric Von Essex. We've expanded. It's further to America now. So there we go.
Lovely.
Patrick.
Well done. Welcome,
Sorry,
America.
sorry, mate. We couldn't get you on last night. I do apologise, but I hope you accept my apology. And the Fock Bobs are in the post. All right. Brown envelope. But a few Fock Bobs, mate. And because we're going to have Fock dollars soon. So we have some, some of them. So
Rainbow
I'll get you on.
Fock Rainbow
Rainbow
Fock
one.
Bobs. Yes.
We want them, do we? Oh, blimey. Now we got here. Yes, hang on, hang on. Foster says, yes, most African countries drive on the left. Not heard of an African country that drives on the right, actually. See, civilization. There we go.
There we go. Oh, I'll be fine.
I think it's everywhere. I think it's everywhere Britain's been, actually. Trump has what? Linda Mac is chair of Trump's transition team. Her husband, Vince, runs the WWE wrestling organization. This election was fake and gay like WWE. Oh, so it was gay, so it must have been happy then. Thinking of it in the 1930s.
Colourful. There we go. We're talking about rainbows.
Yes. See, but no, so Trump, yeah. Well, actually, I do think Trump, quite honestly, is a puppet, like the rest of them.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah.
But we need some good puppets now.
This is Hello, Generous. My word, you're really, it's really late there now, isn't it? This gives us much hope. God bless you much. Bless you. Thank you, Generous. What a lovely lady. Thank you so much. Isn't that kind? And and we got here, where are we? Chris, don't we go from different subjects, from education to rhubarb? Chris, you can grow your own rhubarb. Thank you. Well, I did grow my own bloody rhubarb until the cats demolished it. Yeah. And you keep it in the dark, don't you? And we've got Generous. Hello to you all. Hey! By the way, would you like to swap your weather with us? We've got some very nice weather here, if you'd like it. It's what is it, about 10 degrees today, isn't it? It's a bit cold. The sun shone today, but it's still sort of. Sun's not.
It wasn't its peak, was it? It wasn't doing its best.
And Patrick said next time. Yeah, next time. Okay, thanks, mate. There we go. So, how can we do these type of schools, which was badly needed when I was at school, and I think probably badly needed when you was at school, and I mean, I couldn't wait to get out of school. I detested it. I hated every minute of it. And it's a shame, really, because it's there to learn. But to me, it's true what you said at the beginning of this. If you do what you've got a flair for, what an inclination for, you'll never work for the rest of your life.
Exactly. Do your passion. That's right. Once we've gone through the mess that the world is in and we come out the other side, we will have a lot more time so we can all do the jobs or the creativity that we want to do. So there'll be trading. If Josephine down the road loves doing tapestry, she's put her love and her positive energy into that, and then you think, oh yeah, I need a nice big tapestry on my wall there. And and you got a couple of chickens in the garden. Here, Josephine, here's a couple of chickens for your lovely tapestry. And our chickens are being, nurtured and treated well and so
Done with
on.
love.
Everything will be done with love. None of this drudgery and sort of like
Mm.
slapdashness that we're getting at the moment.
Well,
Customer service and that has gone totally downhill nowadays.
oh, I hate this sort of, how did we do? I had a package delivered. I got something off of eBay, and person delivered it. Rung bell, open door. Here's package. Thank you very much. Closed door. That was it. Have a nice day. A few pleasantries. Ding on my phone. I just about got back to my kitchen. And ding. How did we do? Well, just handed the bleeding package to me. Was he present? Was it smartly? Did he treat your property with this? What did I ask all these questions?
Yes.
Just giving you a package. He didn't bash me on the head with it or something like that. I'd have something to say,
Yeah.
but
The thing is, they should understand that if you don't complain, then they must have been doing their job correctly.
Yeah.
So why don't
That's
they
right.
just assume they've done the job well,
Hmm.
unless you get a complaint?
Well, the thing is, when you go into like these supermarkets and that, it's all faceless. There's staff there that you are just one of a number. But you imagine if you go to the farm shop, you get to know them, and they say, "Oh, I'll put some onions aside for you, or whatever, or chicken aside
Yeah.
for you, or something like that." This is nice, and it's I think what I'd like to see is a sort of civic pride where each little area is outdoing each other on how nice they can make it,
Yes.
how
Yes.
pleasant.
Mm.
There's no litter or anything like that. And I remember when I went to Austria many years ago, they've got on, which I thought was beautiful. They had the professions of the people painted or carved on the side of the houses. So if you went into a village years ago and you wanted a doctor, you looked around. Oh, there's a doctor out there. So you knock on that house door. If you wanted a carpenter, there's one over there.
Yeah.
And isn't that lovely? It's just sort of, But I tried to think what a gynecologist would have was carved on there. Sorry, I got a filthy mind. Yeah. A laboratory attendant or something like that.
A
Can you
bog brush.
Or was it a car mechanic? You just have sort of two legs carved coming out the side of the door with a sort of
With the bonnet.
bonnet, yeah, side of a mini or something. But we got James Cole. Hello, James Cole. Evening, one and all. So comforting listening to you guys. Nice and easy. Thank you very much. That's much appreciated. But no, I think this empowerment, it's desperately needed in this country. Desperate.
Yes.
Because I feel sorry for the youth. Because there's some good ones out there. There really are.
Yeah.
And they're always coming in for bad stick. And I think, and it's when I was young, youth always came in for bad stick, and it's a shame. It really is, because I think that's what it is that we've got I believe everybody's got a talent in something. It's just finding that talent. It really is. And it's so sad. I mean, yes, we've got to learn to use the basics, like we've got to learn reading, writing, and arithmetic. Like 3 R's. No, arithmetic is with an A, not an R.
Exactly,
3 R's.
yes.
Arithmetic. But what makes me though is that my grandparents, how their schooling must have been quite good, because even my dad, he was a walking calculator. He didn't, he could just calculate in his head instantly. Spelling is like a walking dictionary. He could spell anything. English was good. I think, I don't know, we've just had a complete nosedive. It was reasonable, I suppose, when I was at school. I mean, I went to a sort of comprehensive school, but I think it's, I mean, has it nosedived? Is it all political correctness now and agenda driven? And
it's get a group of 30 children through some qualifications and so on. It's just results, results, results. It's not, there's little emotional well-being and emotional intelligence and critical thinking and so on, which that needs to come in more. That's why we're having the problems we're having, because people haven't learned to be discerning and think for themselves. They're being programmed with that square box, and
that's it.
that's what we need to get away from.
I don't believe in qualifications. It sounds weird. I don't even believe
No.
in having a drive. I don't even believe in having a driving license or anything like that, because all qualifications are is a memory test. And if you
Exactly.
have an off day, I mean, I suffered from chronic hay fever, and thanks to sort of nutrition, well, not nutrition, but shall we say herbs and things like that, I don't have it hardly at all now. But it used to be so bad. I was wheezing and and that was always around the exam time. But the thing is that, and I'm not making excuses, I like the old way of doing it, the Victorian way. If you wanted to be an engineer, you went through a kind of course where, if you excuse my language, if you were crap, you didn't last very long in it. But if you had the inclination, then you went on and you became. I don't think Isengard Kingdom Brunel had a qualification to his name.
No,
and
no,
and I don't think that the architect, Franklin Lloyd Wright, he didn't have. I don't think he had a qualification, and he was a very good. Well, not all, but the Californian breeze blocks. I think he invented them. He was a good architect. And a lot of these architects of the years ago did not have qualifications. They just went through the trade and learnt it. And I think that if we had doctors now you can buy qualifications. I mean, you and I could go to a third world country and come back as brain surgeons if we wanted to. Seriously, if you had the money, how much? Right. Okay. I'll be a brain surgeon. But you see, the thing is, I think if you've got an aptitude for things, people have aptitudes for loads of things. And I think that a lot of these politicians have an aptitude for bullshit and politics.
A BS degree.
But we've got some very interesting people in chat tonight. We've got Chris Lucas, the Protestant View Live. Hey, everyone. Hello, Chris. Then Helen O'Sullivan. Helen, when a chef was cooked with love of their art, you can tell, rather than someone doing a job. The proof is in the eating. And as my dad always used to say, you eat with your eyes. You see a delicious meal, and I always know a meal is cooked when you can smell it. So
yes.
Yeah, it's ready soon. Right.
Well, I remember, I used to run Wild Women weekends, and we'd do a veggie stew in a cauldron on a tripod over the fire, but we'd do mindful cutting and preparing and chopping of the vegetables, and we'd all put our love and good nutritious intention into this activity, and it was the best stew that you'd ever tasted. It was phenomenal.
I've got some thistles in my, because thistles are edible, not the prickly bits, but all thistles are edible. But it's the stem. And I'm going to put them in my salad tomorrow. Free food.
We'd pick stinging nettles, put them in as well. Don't have them last thing at night though, because they're a stimulant.
Yes, they're diuretic as well, aren't they? I think.
Yes.
Yes. But and also when you put stinging nettles in the stew, the sting just goes.
Exactly. They're a bit like spinach.
That's right. Also, your neighbour's dog, if it's irritating you, shove that in the stew. No, I'm joking. I'll probably have the police knocking on my door tomorrow.
No, we don't have no doggies jokes, please.
No doggy jokes. No. But now we got here Chris Lucas, the Protestant View Line. And by the way, if I'm not on next week, the police are knocked on my door about the dog joke. So there we go. We are devoid of sense of humour, and you have been right. I live in America. It's a big place. I
Yeah.
was on the Republican primary ticket for US congressman this past year. Good luck. It's impossible to be a good candidate and run against Trump. Yes. Well, there's one thing. If you're honest, you don't get anywhere in politics. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to say that. I don't mean that as an insult, Chris. You know, I'm sure you're a great guy and you're an honest man. But there are very
That's
few
the problem.
honest politicians. And the honest politicians, I mean, we've got one over here. I think David Curtin is a good
They
man. He
they
won't get
get
anywhere.
persecuted. The thing
Yeah.
is that the councillors, MPs, politicians, or whatever, they've got to be there for the people. They've
And they're
got
not.
to do what the people, and they've got to be held accountable, whoever it is, you know. Um, and that you've not sort of, for example, we have on the Kingdom of Britain, we have a template which is community, decentralized project-based governance. So it would be run by volunteers, because then there would be no money exchanging hands. There'd be no ways that people could be bribed or blackmailed and so on. And they would be doing it out of their passion.
Well, do you know that
Um,
place? That's right. Sorry to cut across you there, but do you know
no,
that
go on.
when we went to last Friday, Letchworth,
Yeah.
that chappie, I mean, is he a volunteer or something? Because I've never, it's absolutely spotless, the place. I mean, whoever cleans it
Yes.
is what, I mean, he's got a passion for it, hasn't he? He
Yes.
really has. I mean, does it voluntary, does he? Or is he, I don't know.
I think he's he you know, he's the manager of the hall there,
Yeah,
or
it's really
should I
good.
say the complex. He's a lovely chap, yes,
He
and
certainly is.
you can tell if people enjoy doing their work, because
Mm,
whatever they do, it sparkles, it's, you know, alive,
that's right.
it's
That's
good
right.
quality.
Now, Helen O'Sullivan, Helen says, don't forget the league
Elite.
tables. League
Yes,
tables.
school league tables, yes, because they're
Yes,
all in competition with each other. But
that's
you
it.
know, I had real bad problems when I was a teacher, because even if a child got low marks, I could see they'd put a lot of effort into the work there's done. So I still praise them. There at no time did I ever put any child down. And I worked I was into computing, and there would be 30 children all at their computers, and I would go around every single individual child to make sure they were progressing, to make sure they had no problems, and so on, and give my dedication. I was rather a guide on the side, not a sage on the stage.
Yes. I mean, that's it. I mean, teaching is so important. And I mean, again, it's nice to look back with rose-coloured spectacles. It wasn't all good years ago. I mean, for example, the Victorians were ruthless to children. It's terrible what they did. But when you go back even further, where the sons would learn from their fathers and the
Yeah.
daughters would learn from their mothers. And when you look at tribes around the world, that still goes on. They learn from their elders, and the elders are very much respected. And in our civilization, they're not. Now it says, Chris says, hello again. No matter how decent you are, if you say Trump is wrong about, everyone shuts down and quits listening. Oh, I know how you feel, mate. I organised anti-lockdown protests. Good for you, against Trump. Protests against his warp speed. I won't say the word because we're on YouTube, but I hope you understand. Warp
Yeah.
speed intervention, shall we say. Yeah, good for you. And do you know something? I was the only one in a big superstore walking around without a stupid mask on.
Snap.
Well,
And
yeah, imagine.
I had the two people who were accompanying me both had theirs on, and I'd just like smile at the guard, and he'd like, no, thank you, and I'd just go in.
Well, you remember what I was saying last Friday, where I used to fake deafness? Pardon? Sorry?
Yes.
What do you say? Can you come a little bit closer, please? I can't hear.
Can't hear you.
Deaf sod was. I mean, they had arrows in the supermarket. Which way you should go? So I went the wrong way around here. Excuse me, sir. And I'm just carrying on. Sorry, I can't. And also misinterpret deliberately what they're saying. That's a real good laugh. That is. Have you
Brilliant.
got a mask? You want to touch my what? So, these people just yeah, not very. This is fascinating. These people just shut their brains down. I know the feeling, mate, and think he is the Messiah. Yes, we get this in this country, and we've got equivalent in this country to the Dollar Tree or the dollar store. We got a pound shop, and they actually sold Trump regalia in the pound shop. They must have bought it up cheap. I don't know why people want to make America great. No, we're actually in England.
We're
not
in
America.
the UK here. Yes, exactly.
We drive
Yes.
on the wrong side of the road. Sorry, the correct side of the road.
Exactly. The thing is, people have to start standing up for themselves.
Yeah.
That's the problem, is people aren't getting into their sovereignty, and they're not using their discernment. They're not, as he says, they're not using their brain.
Right.
They need to start standing up for themselves. And until it gets really, really hard and it hurts people in their pockets, a lot of people won't do anything.
Well, we're too comfortable, and the trouble is, it's communism. That's what it is raw communism, and communism absolutely is obsessed with people being groups, because that's the way they control people. But anyway, on with his message. I think these people just shut their brains down and think he is the Messiah. He's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy.
He's a very naughty boy.
No matter what harm he does. Yes, his hurts a lot of people. I agree with you. Yes. The last time somebody speared me was when I was 11 years old at school. I didn't have much say in the matter, and Chris, sorry, that's life, but not as we know it. Said, I've had a personal trainer for years now. I tried to get rid of him, but he started squatting.
Brilliant.
And Dan MC says, did mandate it and encourage people that there were alternative things. Excuse me changing the words, but we are on YouTube. Got kicked off of Twitter. Well, slap my thigh. What a surprise. Yeah, I've been kicked off a lot of places. I'm mentioning a certain word which I can't mention on here over 20 times. And he ain't patented in 2015.
I think we all know
I'll leave it on to people
in the background.
And if you're listening to this, you just have to try and work out what we're saying.
HCQ.
This is Chris. Hello, mate. Actually, Trump didn't want it mandated. That's why he refused to write into fast that it could never be mandated, and that it was. Yes, you're quite right. Please excuse me for not reading this out, because I've had so many videos taken down. I've been banned so many times on YouTube. I'm being very careful. So please excuse me for not reading it out fully, but it's up on the screen. People can read it,
I sort of tend not to sort of dive into the politics, because we've all got, a right to use our own brain and so on.
I just don't vote. I've got no time for government, so I think
exactly.
I have clips of Trump promoting things in the 2015 Republican primary. Interesting.
Well, there's disinformation and there's information out there. We just got to use our discernment.
Did you know more people have been killed by their governments than all the wars put together? They're dangerous, governments are. Stimulants,
definitely.
You say?
Yes. Yeah. I had that was to do with I had nettle soup last thing at night for supper, and it just kept me awake.
That's right. Yes. It's funny, isn't it? People who believe Trump, which is actually a 1950s, 1960s word in Great Britain which meant flatulence. I've just had a Trump. It's
Oh,
true, yeah.
oh.
My word, he's just had a Trump. Is going to save them. Yes. It's like he wasn't in power for 4 years already. Introduced the tyranny and promoted the yes, medicine. Yes, that's right.
I
People
like the
have
next one.
what do you do?
This is a good
What
one.
do you call a dog with no legs? It doesn't matter. He still won't come when you call. That's life, but not as we know it. That's a good one, that is.
I've just
Yeah.
had to cover my little dog's ears with that one.
That's not the old one, was it? My dog has no nose. How does he smell? Terrible.
Terrible.
Yeah. And it's just people have short memories. Yes, they do. Yes.
What were we talking
And
about?
oh, it's just Donald Trump,
Oh, right, yeah.
Chris' brother. Oh, that's nice. Life is, and
We've
we
got
got
1 minute to go. I think
good
we're
night
being
on
warned.
yes, good night on Soapbox Radio. We're carrying on YouTube if we're not censored. And so thank you everyone. And sorry I was late. Smack wrists, detention, and I think the cane actually. Ooh. uh, I like to break the rules. Nut, she bear, prawn. Know that.
But She Bear probably knows that.
Ah, that's
Yes.
what it is.
Yes,
See?
I'm just translating there.
Messiah. Yes, I think that's what they think Trump is. We have something nasty in our water, and it makes people conform. Correct. So
There's been
that's
a
why.
lot of there's been a lot of sort of truths coming out, which is quite interesting, I find. And there's more and more, and because they were saying about the EBS, I think we're going through a bit of a soft EBS at the moment, because it's amazing what the mainstream is sneaking in there snidely. But
That's right.
it's
So
looking good that these things are coming out.
I'm glad. So filter your water, and have starting with F, toothpaste. I'm being a bit careful because I'm on YouTube.
I don't use a toothbrush and toothpaste, and this is going to sound disgusting, but this is what they use in some areas of Africa. This is called a miswak stick. Okay, it's a root from a tree, and basically you peel a bit back at the top, and then it's sort of it's like a little brush, and you just sort of like give each individual tooth its loving care and attention, and it's far more convenient than having a brush and paste, and then you're dribbling everywhere, then you got it down your clothes.
More
So
hygienic.
I have these around my home, like on my desk, in my
I'll make a
car,
note
and
of that.
so on.
Ms. What?
Miswak stick.
Well, that eBay job is it, or is it Amazon job?
Yeah, one of those.
Or...
So MIS or ZWAK, I believe. Some of the other people on here may have heard of them. Miswak sticks.
They're only grown in Africa, are they? I suppose.
You can also there's also the neem roots you can use from the neem tree, and mainly
Indian
hot
neem.
countries. Yes, yeah.
That's interesting. But actually, what I do, I use a zero water filter.
Yes.
And the way I make it last between you and I.
Yeah. Okay.
Strictly just between you and I used to have an old Brita filter, which is not that good. Now, where you live as well, because you're just up the road to me. Have you tested your water? It's about 343. It's really high with particles, our water, and a zero water filter around here would only last about 3 weeks, if that.
Yeah.
I'd make mine last 2 months. And the way I make it last 2 months is I use a Brita filter, first of all. So I pour water from the tap into a jug, from the jug into the Brita, and from the Brita into the zero water filter. Now,
Ah,
Britas are a fraction of the price of a zero water filter. So it
mm,
makes the zero water filter last 2 months.
exactly, because you pre-filtered it.
It pre-filtered it a little bit because it doesn't take out, everything. And the water I have in the jug, I keep it overnight. So all the nasty stuff from the tap has come off of it. That's the tip.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yeah.
my tip of the week, Stay
I
tuned for
do
more top tips.
exactly. I do two things. Firstly, I imagine a water nymph sending love and healing to my water meter. So any water that comes into my house is being loved up by the water nymph. And then I have it's a I shouldn't really say its name, but it's got a double carbon filter and a UV filter in it. And you can press a button and you get hot water. Press a button, you can get cold water. Press a button and you can get tepid water. So as well
What
as
is it?
having, it's a Virgin Pure, it's called.
Virgin
So
Pure.
Virgin Pure. So as well as having, clean water, it's also hot, cold, or tepid. Because I don't drink cold water, I drink tepid water, and the hot is hot enough to make a nice cup of herbal tea, and you can drink it within like a couple of minutes. It's not too hot to burn your mouth.
So I mean, is the water all passed by the Virgin management? I mean, I should have thought.
I don't know. I just set the intention. I send it positive energy.
Well, talking about positive energy, I was talking to Miles. He's the I call him my doctor actually because he's brilliant. He really is. He's at Abbey Health Foods, and he was talking about a Buddhist monk in a hospital that blessed the food, and the food that was blessed, the people that got this food got better quicker than the people that the food wasn't blessed, and they wasn't to know. It's a blind. They just didn't know. That's interesting. And this is a good one. Religious Getfolk said, Trump hats are made in China. Yeah, I think they are.
What isn't made in China?
I don't know.
That's the question.
But
so,
that's
we're going to go through this, taking the system down. We'll start bringing up our own industries in each country and so on. So each country or area, we might not even have countries. It may be areas will have their own. They'll be self-sufficient.
Most people from overseas are here because of finance. Majority, I'd say. If you took if you took that out of the equation, I believe that people should be where they want to be.
Exactly.
I mean, this is the thing. If people are where they want to be, they'll be most happiest. I mean, I saw a Japanese bloke who always wanted to live in Bavaria and speak German. So there he is, Japanese, with his the old, little shorts.
Lederhosen,
and speaking fluent German.
And his stein of beer.
Yes. Yeah. But it's like when I used to work in in London, I often had Japanese tourists coming up to me saying, "Excuse me, could you please tell me where the toilets are, please?" And I'd sort of say, "Well, isn't it amazing? You can find your way to Pearl Harbor, but you can't find your way to the cars." That's an old Spike Milligan jag. Now, I didn't say that actually. Best to not. That's life, but not as we know it. Best not to even put them comments on the screen, just to be on the safe side, because I've been pulled for memes in a video that's just writing. I know it's terrible. And Chris has come back. Hello, Chris. What part of America are you from, by the way? Was it what? They have all the different states there. I think they'll have a state called Exhaustion. I'm in the state of Exhaustion.
Exactly.
A lot of this extreme censorship started under Trump during 2020. I lost 10 channels and had 100 videos taken down between 2020 and 2021. It doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me at all. Yes. Actually, I think these politicians, what is it? Politics, that, I don't know. William, never mind, eh? Trump is going to restore free speech. He's being sarcastic. I see that. There it says,
It's 10
that's nice.
p.m.
That's it. And then it says here, Uganda. Yes, I had a quick look. Bloody hell! What
Oh,
do you get in a supersonic jet or something and get over
was
there?
that
Or
the was that the Miswok stick? Yeah, when apparently there's like over 6,000 patents that have been suppressed. So when they bring out a TARDIS, I want
yeah,
one because then I could take my little dog. He could sit in, he could
yeah.
sit in the TARDIS in a nice hot country. I can go and do some work and so on, and then he's not going to get cooked in the sunshine.
Well, I'd like a sort of beam me up Scotty sort of
Yes,
beam
yeah.
body. But no, I'd like to actually, I'd like to instantly go into a. I don't know. I don't know if I'd like to leave Europe, but I think that Portugal's a bit warmer than it is here. It's better bloody weather. I know that. And so anyway, you must be a bit exhausted after going to Uganda and back whilst you've been on air. I mean,
Yeah,
must run fast. And it says, I have bamboo toothbrushes.
brilliant.
I've got plastic toothbrushes from the plastic tree.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I like nymph idea.
The nymph idea, my water nymph who is, sending love to my water meter and all the water that flows through it.
I Reiki by water. Do you really?
Reiki. Yeah.
Oh, you Reiki your daughter? Do you? Well, as long as you don't tell that to somebody that don't know what Reiki is, because you're going to be in a bit of a trouble. I just Reiki'd your water. Oh, I thought it tasted a bit strange.
Well, then you've got, I don't know if you've heard of, was it Dr. Emoto, when if you put a word like love on like some water and freeze it, you get a lovely pattern. But if you put a word like hate on there, you get a horrid pattern. And they've done this with growing plants. And the plants that had the nice words grew nice and strong. And the plants that had the nasty words just didn't grow at all. So, it's the energy of the positive and negative that affects the things.
We did an experiment on the show, and I had 3 jam jars of rice with water in them, and one jam jar, I just put it aside, just ignored it. One, I had a picture of Tony Blair on the side, because how do you hate a jam jar of rice in water? I mean, it's a bit difficult, isn't it? And then I had another jam jar full of pretty ladies, you see. So I got the pretty ladies, and I mean, how do you love a jam jar? I don't know. I was trying to always love it, the jam jar, put it aside, and then Tony Blair, all this. And do you know something? The Tony Blair one was went rancid. Yeah, it was whiffing the room out where I had it. Because I'd come on the show and say, look, it was really, on the nose. Anyway, we've come up to our time. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. And sorry about the lavatorial humour. It is.
If you can't have a bit of lavatorial humour, then what can you have?
Next week, who we got on? Oh, I got the wrong schedule. Anyway, I'll be back. I'm a guest. I'm generally a guest on Paul English's show on Thursdays. And there'll be the Sunday Rumble show. There'll be a Rumble in the Jungle, as I say, on Sunday, 8 o'clock. And of course, we'll be back, YouTube allowing, next month. Thank you very much for joining us. Have you anything to say to our people out there?
Well, please, if you would know some young people who would like some lovely little books, that they could collect and so on, then
Christmas.
please go onto the website or the Buy Me a Coffee site. Hopefully, Eric will put the links at the bottom in the description somewhere here.
I've done it yet. Of course I have.
Brilliant, thank you. Well done. And you know, if you feel like dancing, dance. If you feel like crying, cry. And if you feel like laughing, laugh. And above all, make sure you have fun. Good night
I
from me.
second that. And good night. And whatever happens, have a bloody good laugh. And good night.